Hello and welcome. Today I'd like to analyze the fine print by the Stupendium. We're gonna go over the song while reacting to it, and then we're going to analyze its meaning and its political connotations. First of all, I'm going to let the song run for a while, and then we're gonna have a stop and analyze what has been said, okay? Let's start. Beautiful Stupendium logo. And of course, go and subscribe. Again, beautiful visuals.
Welcome to space. What were you expecting? It's a dangerous place. Thank you for investing. Go there for your rota, there for your orders. Fill up these quotas, we'll bill for your quarters. Report to your foreman, but watch for marauders. Cause if you get eaten, there's fees for your mourners.
Let's talk a little bit about the game from which the song takes inspiration. The Outer Worlds by Obsidian. A great game, you should definitely play it. But let's delve into the setting. The game is set in an alternate future in which megacorporations took over the government of the United States and eventually, 200 years later, established a colony system in Halcyon. Let's now talk about the first lyrics. Welcome to space. What were you expecting? It's a dangerous place. Thank you for investing. He's presenting himself as a representative of one of the megacorporations and welcoming the new workers. In particular, he's saying, well, this is space. This might not be what you were expecting. It's a dangerous place. You will get used to it, I guess. And then we go on. Go there for your rota, there for your orders, fill up these quotas, we'll bill for your quarters. So he's giving, again, instructions on what to do. Report to your foreman, but watch for marauders, because if you get eaten, there's fees for your mourners. And here we get to the more eerie stuff. But watch for marauders, because if you get eaten, there's fees for your mourners. He's not really worried about the safety of the worker. He's saying, watch out, because if you die, there's going to be fees for the people who want to mourn you. Which is very strange. And let's go back a little bit. Thank you for investing. We'll bill for your quarters. There's fees for your mourners. All three of these verses end with a point about money. Thank you for investing. Thank you for being here, for investing your time and your money in this new endeavor in this colony. We'll bill for your quarters. The quarters are not free. You have to pay. You have no right to accommodation if you don't pay. And the last one, there's fees for your mourners. So, even if you die, someone must pay.
Prosperity's there.
And here
in
comes
the
the
care of
moon man.
magnates in Halcyon heaven away. Did you think it was supposed to look like the poster? It mostly does. Oh, if you'd only read closer. Just 10 short years to a new frontier. Snooze as you cruise and you'll wake up here.
The tone shifts, and we see the Moon Man, Spacer Choice Company mascot, reading what appears to be a propaganda poster. And he says, prosperity's there in the care of magnates, in Halcyon heaven awaits. And again, we are told how prosperous Halcyon is thanks to these megacorporations. But then, he breaks character, and he says, did you think it was supposed to look like the poster? Oh, but it mostly does, if you'd only read closer. So we understand that what he's saying is far from the truth. The poster is a mere facade. It's not reality. Just 10 short years to a new frontier. Snooze as you cruise, and you'll wake up here. Again, propaganda. No worries. Yes, it's a long travel, but you're not going to notice it. You'll be sleeping for all that time, and you'll wake up here in no time. And we know for a fact that the ship malfunctioned, something went wrong, so it's not as safe as it's made to look.
You've been trapped in that ship for an awful long time, so perhaps you have simply forgot what you signed. Oh, honestly, did you not read the colony policy that defined you as company property? That waivers your say in autonomy. The conglomerates got you in lock and key. We put the dollar back into
Beautiful
idolatry.
line.
If you're upset, you can rent an apology. We are a family forged in bureaucracy. No I in team, but there's con in economy. Were you expecting adventure? Were you hoping for fun? My friend, you're indentured and pleasures exempt from your tenure, so venture back down to your slum that's provided at generous prices. Your worth is determined by your sacrifices.
This is where it all comes crashing down, and the narrator takes off his mask. It becomes apparent that the working conditions are nothing short of slavery. In the game, as you explore Edgewater, the first colony you get access to, you cannot fail to notice that something is off. The settlement is not as grandiose as the company would like you to think, and the population is sick and living in poverty. These will be a recurring theme throughout your voyages in Halcyon star system, which is now a shadow of its former glory. Let's now get back to the lyrics. Oh, honestly, did you not read the colony policy that defines you as company property, that waivers your say in autonomy? Well, there is no doubt anymore, you've been deceived. For the company, you are not a human being. You are a cog in the machine. You have no autonomy. You have no right to self-determination. You are their property. You've signed a contract. There's nothing you can do. And now you're here in a faraway colony with no way of going back. We put the dollar back into idolatry. There is no space for religion here. The dollar must become your religion. Profits are all that matters to us. There is no space for anything else. If you're upset, you can rent an apology. Well, if you are angry, there's nothing you can do. At most, you can pay us for an apology. But we're not going to do anything else. We are a family forged in bureaucracy. This is the classic line that all businesses use. We are a family, but you're not really a family. They are your employer, and you are an employee. This is not a relationship forged in blood. It is forged in bureaucracy. No I in team, but as con in economy. Beautiful line. You are part of the team. You must not act as an individual. You must act as part of a whole. But there's con in economy. Like con man. You've been tricked. You've been deceived. And the economy is an illusion that serves us. Were you expecting adventure? Were you hoping for fun? Did you come here in search for something better? Were you hoping of discovering new planets, new creatures? Did you want to go on adventures? Did you want to have fun? Well, bad luck. My friend, you're indentured. My friend, you're in debt to us. You have to repay us. Indentured servitude. And pleasures exempt from your tenure. You have no right to have fun. You're here to work. You're here to make us money and nothing else. So venture back to your slum that's provided at generous prices. So go back to your slum. You're paying us for accommodation, and we're not really giving you a house. We're giving you what we have, which is a slum. Nothing more, but at least it's provided at generous prices. And then the last line. Your worth is determined by your sacrifices. Your worth as a human being is nothing more than the product of your work and your sacrifices.
Small term of service went down on the surface. Internment's a freebie that comes with the purchase.
I really love this chorus. A small term of service went down on the surface, and term's a freebie that comes with the purchase. These, for me, could have two interpretations. The first one being that if you disagree with the company, well, internment's free, so you're going to be put in jail and at least you won't have to pay anything. Or, second interpretation, being on the surface of the planet, working for the company, is a form of internment. We work to earn the right to work, to earn the right to give, ourselves the right to buy, ourselves the right to live, to earn the right to die. This description is both perfectly fitting for the theme of the song and a clever critique of our everyday life under our current economic system. An individual is so much more than his net worth, than how much he earns, than what he does for work. Every single one of us has hobbies, dreams, passions, and yet we are judged primarily by our work. We work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, in order to earn the privilege of going on, of not starving, and working another week, in order to earn enough to buy the things that we want, and to have enough free time to do the things we want. And we do all these to eventually earn the right to die of old age, and not of starvation. I am now going to put one of Marx's books, The German Ideology. For as soon as the distribution of labor comes into being, each man has a particular exclusive sphere of activity, which is forced upon him and from which he cannot escape. He is a hunter, a fisherman, a herdsman, or a critical critic, and must remain so if he does not want to lose his means of livelihood. While in a communist society where nobody has one exclusive sphere of activity, but each can become accomplished in any branch he wishes, society regulates the general production and thus makes it possible for me to do one thing today and another tomorrow, to hunt in the morning, fish in the afternoon, rear cattle in the evening, criticize after dinner, just as I have a mind, without ever becoming hunter, fisherman, herdsman, or critic. Of course, Marx here is not talking about a socialist society, but a communist utopia. But we have to analyze the meaning behind these words. In a capitalist society, everyone has to have a job in order to survive, and therefore individuals identify themselves with their jobs. One is a worker, one is an engineer, one is a doctor. That becomes the base of class struggle and is in itself a problem. Everyone should be allowed to do whatever they want, to contribute to society in the way they see best. I should be able to be a worker, an artist, a critic, and a writer, all at the same time. Marx advocates that in a truly free society, everyone should be able to live while contributing at the best of its capabilities, without ever becoming a single thing. He hoped that these would have been achieved through the means of automation, of technological development, Eventually, people would be able to produce much more while investing less time in their work. These would have been the key to a freer society, to less work for everyone. I'd say that's enough. So let's get back to some.
We're a little town, why don't you settle down? You just fill out the paperwork and you could look around. We're happy as can be inside the valley cannery. We live to pack the cans of meat and not to question where it's found until we end up in the ground around the corner in the yard. You know, we thought we liked the sound of finding glory in the stars. The board has taught us to be proud of never reaching very far. So we earn what we're allowed and give it right back at the bar.
The ale to cure what ails you. ZeroG Brew, your favorite flavor. So work till you bleed, ennobled by labor, then purchase relief from your local retailer.
The settlement of Edgewater is a factory town built around a cannery, a salt tuna cannery. I'll try and keep spoilers to a minimum, but as we explore Edgewater, we soon discover that salt tuna is not really tuna. Everyone in the city eats this canned delicacy, but nobody really knows what's inside of it. In reality, salt tuna is mostly made up of mushrooms, a little bit of tuna, and some secret ingredients. Now, it's the workers that are singing the praises of the company. Why don't you settle down? Why don't you stay here and work with us? Here, just fill out the paperwork and you can look around. If you want to take a look around, you have to sign the non-disclosure agreement. We're happy as can be inside the Valley Cannery. Don't you see? We're so happy here. We leave to pack the cans of meat and not to question where it's found. Our job is to pack the cans of meat and not to raise questions. We don't know what's inside of it and we don't care until we end up in the ground around the corner in the yard, and we'll keep packing the cans of meat until we die. You know, we thought we liked the sound of finding glory in the stars. And again, this is what they were promised, a bright future, an adventure, and instead they are stuck working at a cannery. The board has taught us to be proud of never reaching very far, so we earn what we are allowed and give it right back at the bar. The board of directors, the company, has taught us that we have to be proud of the little we do. The workers shall not crave for anything better, because menial work is what keeps them complacent. So they earn what the company pays them, and they give it right back at the bar, which is company owned. And this is another important detail of the settlement of Edgewater. Since the whole town is run by Spacer Choice, every service is provided by them, and therefore everything that the company pays the workers goes right back into the company. The worker is provided a wage, and then he is forced to spend that wage in Spacer Choice products at a Spacer Choice store. The company has a monopoly on everything, and therefore the workers are practically working for free. The whole premise of capitalism, price setting through competition and the law of offer and demand, is missing. The ale to cure what ails ya. ZeroG Brew, your favorite flavor. So work till you bleed, ennobled by labor, then purchase relief from your local retailer. Again, the workers are so desperate that the only relief they have is alcohol. ZeroG Brew, since it's brewed in space. So work till you bleed, work until you can work no more, ennobled by labor. Keep being proud of the soul-crushing work you do. Then go and buy alcohol from a Spacer Choice approved retailer.
If you'd rather drop dead, that's fine, but you know that dropping down dead bears are fine. So you
Eviction
do
notice.
your job and I'll do mine. I gotta meet a 6-foot deep bottom line. We make a fortune for the board by selling boredom door to door, because it's all that we deserve and it is all we can afford. The secrets of the universe and all the worlds to be explored, but our dreams are back on earth and now the work is our reward.
If you'd rather drop dead, that's fine. But you know that dropping down dead bears a fine. So you do your job and I'll do mine. I gotta meet a 6-foot deep bottom line. Again, everything has a cost. Even dying bears a fine. So you do your job, you keep working at the plant, and I'll do mine. I'll keep burying the ones that can't work anymore. I gotta meet a 6 foot deep bottom line. And like, the bottom line is the profits of a company, but at the same time, he has to dig a grave, which is at least 6 foot deep. We make a fortune for the board by selling boredom door to door, because it's all that we deserve and it's all we can afford. We make loads of money for the company, and yet we are paid next to nothing. Boredom is all that we can afford, and the company tells us that it is also all that we deserve. The secrets of the universe and all the worlds to be explored. But our dreams are back on Earth, and now the work is our reward. We came here to explore new planets, to discover new things. We hoped for something better, and instead now we dream of going back to Earth, the place we once wanted to live. And now, our only reward in life is work, and more work.
And you'll be grateful for seats at the table, though it dips at one end and the bench is unstable. You may waste your days, but at least you were able to pay off your grave since we leased you your cradle. Be faithful and pray, we'll repay what you invest. Behave as you slave for humanity's interest.
And you'll be grateful for seats at the table, though it dips at one end and the bench is unstable. Whether you want it or not, you'll have a seat at our table, you'll be part of our company, and you'll be grateful for it. Though it dips at one end and the bench is unstable, the table is slanted in favor of the company. The game is rigged. The company has the high ground, you, the worker, have the short end of the stick. You may waste your days, but at least you were able to pay off your grave since we leased you your cradle. You may be wasting your days, doing nothing apart from working, but at least you were able to pay off your grave, while your whole life, your cradle, was on lease. Now at least you own something. You own a hole in the ground. Be faithful and pray. Will repay what you invest. Have faith, not in God, but in the company and in the system. Only if you have faith and pray, your investments will be repaid. The market only works as long as everyone believes in the market. Behave as you slave. Do not get strange ideas. Behave or else. For humanity's interest. The interest of the company is humanity's interest. The interest of the few at the top is the interest of everyone. Let's talk a little bit about the deeper meaning of those lines. In particular, I'd like to focus on the relationship between employer and employee and the common idea, that the interests of the one at the top are the same as yours, which in the recent past took the form of trickle-down economics. First of all, let's tackle the misconception that the working middle class has more in common with millionaires and with poor people, which is very often prevalent in the American mind. In the USA, for example, the top 1% own more than the bottom 50%. For decades, elected officials kept cutting the taxes on the rich while increasing the taxes on the bottom 50%, which is a ludicrous idea. Trickle-down economics have been proven multiple times a complete failure, and yet people in the middle classes of the United States kept thinking that increased taxes on billionaires might, in some way, shape or form, prevent them from from eventually becoming themselves billionaire, while it's a lot more likely that they will become destitute, poor in their lifetime, than it is for them to become billionaires, which is more difficult than winning the lottery. This mindset, provoked by years and years of anti-socialist propaganda, is the root cause of the severe lack of social services and safety nets in the country, which today is becoming more and more of a problem for its citizens. This also explains why the US is one of the countries where worker unions are most hated. Years and years of propaganda and suppression were nearly successful in eradicating most of the worker unions in the country. These provoked a severe imbalance in the relationship between workers and their employers. Without unions, workers had a hard time in bargaining for better wages and better working conditions. Luckily, today the situation is slowly improving, so there is still hope for the future. Let's now get back to the song.
On account that you're all on account and we're quickly amounting humanity's interest, you'd think that we'd sink to the brink of rebellion with markets dependent on peddling weapons. The architect tells them the secret to heaven is simply consuming whatever we sell them.
On account that you're all on account and we're quickly amounting humanity's interest. Again, it is saying that the interest of the company is the interest of humanity. And therefore, by working for the company, they are doing what's right for humanity. This line is also a play on words with interest, both meaning the interest of the company and the monetary interest. You'd think that we'd sink to the brink of rebellion with markets dependent on peddling weapons. You would think that the workers would be at our throats, demanding better working conditions, but instead we've managed to brainwash them into thinking that we are doing what's right for them and they are doing what's best for the company and for humanity. And if our interests were to be threatened, we could still use weapons, since we are already smuggling them. The architect tells them the secret to heaven is simply consuming whatever we sell them. The core principle of consumerism, the secret to living a good life, and the secret to heaven in our pseudo-religion is consuming whatever the company sells. Buy whatever we produce, even if you don't need it, and replace whatever breaks without trying to fix it. Well, this is also a critique of capitalism. In a system plagued by endemic crises of overproduction, scarcity is not the problem. Lack of consumption is the real threat. The economy works if everyone partakes in it. If you hoard money and you don't invest it, and you don't buy things, you are not useful to capitalism. You are useful only as long as you are a consumer. There will be lots of other topics to cover, like planned obsolescence, for example, but that would be too much of a digression. So let's get back to the song.
We work to earn the right to work, 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 to earn the right to give ourselves the right to buy, ourselves the right to live, to earn the right to die. Should've read the fine print, my friend. Should've read the fine print.
Should have read the fine print.
Should've read the fine print, my friend. Should've read the fine print. Welcome to our little town. Why don't you settle down? You just fill out the paperwork and you can look around. We work and then 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 we end up in the ground. Welcome to our little town. Why don't you settle down? You just fill out the paperwork and you can look around. We work and then we work and then we work and then we work and then we work. Should've read the fine print. And here and here an initial here. Welcome to the family.
Again, please go and subscribe to the Stupendium, make some awesome content. And if you like the video, think about leaving a like and maybe subscribing. I'll be here waiting for your comments and eager to read your opinions. See you soon.